Yeah, just treat them like the Texans. Yeah, they in the Death Note. You know, I forgot to put Chicago in the Death Note. That's crazy. Yo, we spent all weekend. All weekend we put Houston in the Death Note. We forgot to put Chicago in the Death Note. Ain't that something? It's crazy, bro. We done buried them and all that other stuff. No, no, no. Those guys from Chicago. No, not the Bears. Just the people from Chicago. Yeah. No, they were part of the outfit. Yeah, remember we was with the Gambinos. Yeah. Wait a minute. Something froze. Something ain't right. Something ain't right here. Why I look like that? Hold on, wait a minute now. What's going on here? What part of the game is this? Something ain't right here. Something ain't right here. I'm froze than a son of a bitch. Hold on, game. What? Why am I frozen? Hold on now. Wait a minute. Something ain't right here. Why am I frozen? First off, I look crazy. First off, I look absolutely crazy. Something ain't right here. What is going on? Hold on now. What why am I frozen in a soft bitch right now? Would you give something's not right. This is off. Something ain't right. Something is not right here. Give me a second. Let's disconnected. This something is not. Move from over here. I'm not trying to use the webcam shot. I'm not sure why this is happening. Can you hear me though? Can you hear me though? Okay. A second. Okay, so you can hear me, but I think I'm there now. Can you see me? Can you see me? You should be able to see me. All right, I've returned. I was in a genjutsu. Not sure why that was the case. I wasn't a genjutsu. I am freed now. Perhaps it was the outfit that played a role in my inability to be seen momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? How is it going? Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome back to Hold My Nuggets Incorporated. Wait a minute. Joker said the Bronx Harlots had me in captivity. First off, you said had Unk in captivity. So who are you referencing? All right. Token Black Guy said it was Dioda. Well, I'm not too sure. I cannot confirm nor deny said sentiments. Somebody hit me with the Zawel, and evidently I was unable to move. David said it was the Bears. It was the Bears slander. Oh, my. And although we ain't going to be sipping throughout the entire time, it's only right we do a little bit of a cheers. All right, go to a week 13 of football. Let me know in the comment section right now. Y'all leave, well, not the comment section, but the live stream. Y'all let me know right now if your team's won, if your team's lost. Put a 1 in the chat if your team got a W. Put a 2 in the chat if your team took an L. And cheers to the teams that did take an L. And to the Texans and Bears who I got to put in the death note this come Sunday. Whether they win or not, I got to put them in the death note because I forgot to put them. I didn't know that they got eliminated until after, at the stream in the evening. I said, wait a minute, they got eliminated? I had no clue. I already did the video. Can't go back and fix it now. That's all that we doing. Well, I'm seeing a lot of ones. People got a W. All right. Big 49ers, some Cowboys. Of course, we got the Steelers in the building. Lions got a win. Kid Dynamite done said we won the bye week. That don't count. Oh, Token Black Guy said, what if they tied and got on the LGBT train? Well, if that was the case, then I cannot say that you got to put a 1. You got to put a 3. If you're a Commanders or a Giants fan, you got to put a 3. You got to put a 3. If you was on the T train, you got to put a 3. You got to put a 3 if that's the case. Oh, but we shall see how things play out. If your team got a W, congratulations. If your team did not, unfortunately, you're dealing with an L. You're dealing with an L. What do you post if your team had a bye week? Absolutely nothing. You don't participate. But whatever the case may be, we had ourselves quite the eventful week 13. And I'm going to go through the games. obviously starting with Thursday Night Football AFC battle against the Buffalo Bills traveling to take on the Lolly Lule Low New England Patriots. And before we get into that game, we gotta discuss some things, all right? Because we already know this is the final week for you to set your predictions for what the Super Bowl, will be. Right. And I should say not for y'all, more for me. I said at the conclusion of week 13, I would have my two teams that I believe will represent the NFC and AFC in the Super Bowl. And lo and behold, I think week 13 was the perfect marker for the prediction because things have fallen into place for some teams. Things have fallen out of place for other teams. Some teams have hit their stride. So I'm going to give my prediction for not only who I think will represent both conferences in the Super Bowl, but I'll also say who I think will win each division in the NFL. Now, as for how the playoffs will break down, I'll touch on that ultimately when Wild Card Weekend is approaching. But I will tell you who I think is going to win each division. Then I'll let you know who I believe will represent each conference in the Super Bowl. And as for Super Bowl winner, I'm not going to necessarily disclose that yet because I'll just say who I think will represent in the Super Bowl. And as for Super Bowl winner, I think it's far too early to call that. But I can say who I think will represent each team in the Super Bowl moving forward. But, we only got 61 likes. We got 270. Come on now. Hit that like button. Let's get over 150 likes. Come on now. We got to get started. Hit that like button. We got 2 little likes. Too little time. I'm over here a little dark tonight. I got on the Morgan hat. But you know what you do need, all right? Because tonight, things are actually coming up a little Millhouse. Why is that? Because last night I hit my biggest parlay ever since getting on the Underdog Fantasy app. How is that? Ladies and gentlemen, you got to click the link in my description. Go to Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Adonis. Let me move this Uncle Nearest out the way. Use promo code Adonis, and if every deposit, or I should say, when you deposit up to $100, they will match you. You understand me? And guess what happened last night? Guess what happened last night? Oh, let me scroll up so you can see what happened. Guess what happened last night? Big money. I want to, what do they call it, a band? I'm up 1,000 on Underdog Fantasy, bruh. I have won a total of $1,745. Well, $1,745. I'm up 1,000 last night, and guess how much I had to wager for that? I turned $50 into 1,000 last night, dog. I turned $50 into 1,000 last night, and I'm on the W train. Let me tell you something. Spencer Dinwiddie nearly made me break my television. I was fixing to go to sleep before midnight, and I saw Dinwiddie only needed because Aaron Gordon had a great first half or first quarter. Dinwiddie had a very good first quarter, and I'm sitting over there like, wait a minute. Hold on, I got to see this with my own eyes. There's $1,000 on the line over here. Lo and behold, Dinwiddie did a whole lot of nothing through the third quarter. Throughout the midway through the fourth quarter, did nothing. If the man ain't get fouled with seconds left to play on the inbound to make the free throws, I would have been sick because I got no problem if my parlay's destroyed, midway through the game. All right, cool. Just don't take it down to the final seconds. I don't need that kind of heart attack. I already have that watching Pittsburgh Steelers games. I don't need that on the parlay. But lo and behold, he made them doggone shots, and I left with a band in my pocket. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that bread, and I'm going to make it happen once more tonight, because here's what I'm going to do, right? Here's what I'm going to do. Because I got a little bit of stuff to play with, I can run some more plays. But we ain't going to talk about the NBA play. Oh, actually, you can't even see it because it's not focused. But I got something. God damn it. Would you focus? Yeah, so I got a little bit that I could play with over here. So I got some parlays going. But we will pick for Thursday Night Football. The first parlay for Thursday Night Football. We'll get that going here tonight. Well, I gotta slide over here because actually let me move this over here like that. All right, perfect. That one works. Yeah, so we're going to get that going. But I got myself a big W on Underdog Fantasy, and you can too. All right, so click the link in my description. Download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use promo code Adonis. Click the link in my description right now. Right now. Okay? Use promo code Adonis. You see what I'm participating in is the Pick'em. The Pick'em is by far my favorite. You mean to tell me the max parlay is 5? You go to all these other apps. Don't get me wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with them. But they give you some super legs in order to mess around and win. All right? Underdog Fantasy, max is 5 on the Pick'em. Then all you need, all of them to hit, you can multiply your bread by 20. by 20. Well, 10. The booster will bring it to 20. But you can multiply it by 10. Kidding me? It don't get no better than that. So make sure you click the link in my description. Download the Underdog Fantasy app right now. Use promo code Adonis, and you can mess around and win. It's never too late. It is never too late. We doing it all NFL season long. Okay, and I'm fixing to be on there during the NBA season. So y'all make sure y'all head over there and sign up, and make sure that you tell a friend to 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 go and participate. You ain't even got to wager too much. You could turn $1 into 10. You could turn 2 into 20. You don't need to start big. You don't need to start dropping 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. You could just start with $2 bets here, there, and slowly build. All right? But one way or another, I wish you guys, luck moving forward. But let's go down the doggone list. Shout the people out before we get up into the breakdown of what is transpiring in this week. Wooster put 449 on it. Said, your boy from the UK. Oh boy, your boy from the UK sending positive vibes. Like to pay it forward, so enjoy the night. How about them Niners? Indeed. Keep up the amazing content. Hashtag Death Note. Yes, indeed. You always got to know I keep that Death Note on me at all times. And this Sunday, we shall see the Chicago Bears get themselves an entry. But who else will join them? And the Houston Texans as well. Then, Peyton put 5 on it. Said, YouTube, for no notification. Anyway, no one can tell me nothing tonight. The Yankees' biggest star, finna be a Yankee for life, pull up on me. Yes, indeed. Last year, he was offered an 8-year, $230 million deal. And evidently, or was it 200? Yeah, it was $230 million deal. Lo and behold, has one of the greatest seasons, if not the greatest season in American League history. Then turns around and gets a 9-year, $360 million deal. It don't get no better than that. So congratulations to Aaron Judge, the New York Yankees, for maintaining that man, and also Peyton, Bronx native, feeling good about his squad. Gerald put 2 on it. Said, thoughts on Prime pulling scholarships at Colorado. Well, I actually read something interesting, and I touched on primetime this past Monday what my thoughts were, but read something interesting that I actually thought was happening, but I didn't want to speak on it until some more additional details came out, because I did specify that he used a lot of his own money to fund a lot of things with the school. But turns out, remember, when he was on the Earn Your Leisure podcast, he talked about how it was very odd that they would say they sold out a stadium, but all of a sudden when they take a look at the numbers, there wasn't every seat sold. So somebody is stealing or somebody lied. And evidently, for several different things regarding the success of the team, things that were supposed to be given by the school ain't fulfilling obligations. So if I was Prime, I can understand why one would feel slighted, because if you take a look at the growth of not only their athletics, but the school's exposure as a whole with his arrival, then you see how he himself is being treated from the very school themselves, not the public opinion, but from the very school himself. Of course, if he says, all right, cool, I'm a up and dip, I understand. However, only issue that I have with the entire thing with Prime is you said you came in, you talked a certain sort of way about the situation. Obviously, he sprinkled in a little bit of frustration here and there that he had with the situation, but because of how he preferenced why he's at Jackson, for him to say, well, my calling was to take me elsewhere, as if man wasn't offered, that's the only thing that I had a problem with it. But you ain't gonna see me slander a man for taking a job. It's not happening. But that's where I sit on that, because truly I feel like somebody lying, and I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna point no elbows at Prime, because it seems like everything the man had to say about the situation seems to be rather accurate. The only thing that kind of sucks is when he said to the Colorado players in the press conference, or I should say in his speech to the team, of, well, for one, some of y'all, y'all ain't gonna make it, which I completely understand, because this is a 1-11 football team or whatever. But man said, I'm bringing some luggage, meaning he bringing some players over, which makes sense. But I'm curious, how big of a pillage of Jackson State's roster will it be? Not only roster, but also coaching staff will it be from leaving from there to go to Colorado. But the players are incredibly appreciative for the culture shock that Prime brought over there. So you ain't going to hear me slander that man. But one way or another, we're going to have to find out. Time will progress, and ultimately the answer, or I should say the truth, will come out. Hazard put 2 on. Say, get Underdog in Michigan, please. Well, we shall work on that, brother. Hopefully it will be there before the conclusion of the season. One way or another, you'll have to find out what the state policy regarding that kind of stuff is. But if it's not, my apologies and condolences that you will be missing out. I am sorry to hear that. Braylon put 5 on. Said, put Carolina Panthers in the Death Note. They shall be there very, very momentarily. Marco put 2 on. Said, how do you hit on your pick 'em picks? I'm in a drought. Well, here's the thing, right? If there's anything that I have learned in participating in these picks when it comes to wagering on sports, don't look for popular players. Only look for popular players in situations where you think something can be a lock. But if there's anything that we know about sports, nothing is a lock, right? So look for somebody who constantly rides the bench, always on the bench. Then you see what's wagered for them, whether it's a certain amount of points, rebounds, assists, free throws, steals, whatever the case may be. That's in basketball. Football, yardage, receptions, rush attempts, rushing yards, touchdowns, things of that nature. You find somebody who's been riding the bench, you take a look at their past games, you take a look at the depth with the injury report. It shouldn't take that long. You don't need to do super vast research because I don't do that. But because I've taken my L's. Don't get me wrong. I've taken my L's. But I look at it like, yo, no disrespect, but hashtag bet on bums. When you first go in, look at the star players and say, all right, I know this person performs here. Don't start with the 5-leg parlay. That was my biggest problem. Start with like a 3-leg, something comfortable. You bet like a 10. You turn that 10 into 60. Then you could bet like a 20, turn that 20 into 120. You start small. Then you start working towards, the larger parlays that you want to run. But for me personally, if you just start, bet on bums. That's the best way. Hashtag bet on bums. Start very small, 3-leg parlay, bet on bums. You know they ain't going to see the court. Yo, this person not going to see the court. This going to be a close game, or it should be. They might never see the court. They might never see the field. Let me just say, this person going to have under 18%. They don't even get a target all day. Guess what? You just cashed in. So that's what you should look at. Hashtag bet on bums. OBJ fixing to retire. What you guys mean? Where that coming from? I did hear the news that he didn't necessarily impress when meeting with Dallas because they're very concerned about his health. And I said already, OBJ shouldn't be signed until December, yes, around Christmas, post-Thanksgiving, right? However, he shouldn't see the field until January. So he shouldn't sign with any team unless they're going to the playoffs. And remember, we got 2 weeks of January with regular season football. So as far as I'm concerned for OBJ, around Christmas is when somebody should pick him up. Around Christmas is when somebody should pick him up because I don't care what he say. He should not see the field so soon. He should not see the field so soon. Hashtag BOB, bet on bums. Bet on bums. Braylon put 5 on and said, how do I feel about Cowboys leaking OBJ's medical papers? Will Jerry ever sign Odell? They leaked his medical papers. What? They leaked his medical papers? I did not know this. They leaked. Now, I heard that they were concerned. I didn't know they put it in the public. Oh, my. One way or another, I think he'll still get signed. But I don't want to see him on the field until the playoffs. Do not further, mess up, that unfortunate injury. So I wouldn't want to have that sort of situation. Isn't that a HIPAA violation? Probably. Probably. I wouldn't be so surprised about that. Probably. TLK victimized said, I love you. Well, I love you too. Let's go down the list. Jeremy, Dustin, Fly Birds Fly, Marco, Ack Leak, or AHK Leak, Jeremy. Julio in the building. Oh, luckily, don't be too sus tonight, Julio. Kid Dynamite, Anthony, So you said Jerry has zero confidence in OBJ's health. I mean, at this particular stage, I would not sign him this early. But the only thing is, if somebody who signs him early, you kind of feel like that FOMO hits. So you want to sign him, but here's the problem. You don't want to sign him too early. Now you deal with an injury. You need another person to fill a roster spot. Now you go and you drop him. Somebody else. Look, remember the scenario I gave earlier where somebody, I said this like maybe week 5. Somebody mess around and sign OBJ early. They end up getting a crucial injury on their team. You now need to fill that roster spot because somebody's going to IR. There's nobody on your practice squad who's worth elevating to take that slot. So you now got to drop OBJ to go sign somebody else or cut somebody else to go sign somebody else. But you really don't want to do that. You got to sign this dude knowing that he can produce this season for you. So he's in a very interesting situation. Kid Leo, that boy Tree, Amari, Jeffrey, So Chill, Steve, Zay in the building, Ant White, Snow Kangaroo, MP1, MG617, Wolfman, Pharaoh, Jeff in the building. What's going on, Jeff? Malcolm, JJ, Captain Espanol, Boom Asuna, Gabriel. What's going on, Sir X Gemini? I put 2 on. He said OBJ's getting that Priest Holmes treatment. Oh, Lord in heaven. That's a classic name right there. Traitor in the building. KT Chris. Ablaze, what is going on? Of course, David in the house. Kiara's in the house. Payne's in the house. CTS_Z is in the house. Adrian, what is going on? Does the Giants make the playoffs this season? Absolutely not. They're going to end 8-9. Actually, no, that's a lot. They're going to end 9-8. But they will miss the playoffs. Dreadhead King, and they will end at the bottom of the NFC East, I might add as well. They'll actually, tell you the truth, I believe that they'll be 9-8. I would not be surprised they end 8-9. We'll talk about that. Sir X Gemini, K Dub, Richard Stone, Jeremiah, King L, Be Real Dale, Always Paid Media. Hey, when y'all getting into the doggone room, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We only got 181 likes. Come on now. Brian, for 5 on it, said, what are my thoughts on EDP getting busted again for trying to get with an underage girl? I am concerned. Slightly, I don't want to say slightly enraged, but rather concerned, bothered, because now, if I'm not mistaken, this would be the 3rd time, right? Now, here's the only thing. With the first time when he was going back and forth in the messages and he chalked that up to trolling, I said, you could already tell from watching man's videos, he's a weird dude, so he's got a warped sense of humor. Okay, you never physically went to go do anything. When the whole expose transpired and he actually physically was going, that's where I looked at it and said, for one, I never had any sort of relationships or whatever, but I did make the video where I said, hey, fam, I think I could consider myself somewhat of a fan. I had subscribed. I started watching the videos, not necessarily religiously, but I had watched the videos, but I had to cut ties because you physically went over. It went from trolling on the internet to, oh, well, I know this isn't a real girl, so I'm just going to send these messages and play along with the game for some laughs. Ha ha. No, when you physically, I'm going to go get some cup. Now at that point, we got to cut ties. You wildin'. It's been now, 2 years? Year and a half? And now you still back at it? Come on. At this point, there is no possible defense for that at all. There's none at all. So man's is wilding. Now, granted, no jumper. There was a whole post, everything over there. Hey, this is allegedly him, whatever the case may be. All right, cool. Right? But I don't need to further go and do more unless they catch this man on film again, like via text and that whole thing. Don't get me wrong, it's still absolutely fucked up. It's ridiculously fucked up. I ain't gonna make no excuses for the brother. But I ain't going to make no other video unless this man is out here in person once more, because it's ridiculous, bruh. Absolutely ridiculous. Sir X Gemini put 2 on, said, rest in peace, Mills Lane. Millis Lane. That seems, Millis Lane. Is that the referee? Millis Lane. Hold on, wait a minute. Is that the referee? Oh no. He died. Oh, that sucks. Oh, rest in peace. And he been in the ring for some classic match. Yeah, he was the Holyfield and Tyson ref. Yeah, I knew he looked familiar. He was in the commentary. Oh, damn. Rest in peace to him, bruh. Golly, that sucks. Rockstar said, I got a pod that. No, I don't. No, well, not anymore. Had a pod, don't got a pod no more. Will the Ravens play Lamar? No. Or will they pay Lamar? I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I think it depends on how he recovers, because this would have been 2 years in a row where he's ended up having to leave due to injury. And if he can't finish, the season on an adequate level, I think it's take the L out of Lover. He's out of there, brother. Welcome to San Francisco. Now, let's get into these games. Okay. Well, Stack said, Patuan said, once a mistake, 3 times is an insult. Well, you ain't wrong about that. Certainly ain't wrong about that. Let's get into these games. First and foremost, we got to start with Thursday Night Football. AFC matchup between the Lolly and the Buffalo Bills. Now, 2 things have to be said about this game. 1, the Mac Jones experience, that might not be it. That might not be it in New England. Now, don't get me wrong. I've stated time and time again, you should give a quarterback time to mature. You got to give him max 3 years of stability, right? Same coordinator, same coach. Sometimes it could vary, but same coordinator, same quarterback's coach, same offensive system. Of course, you can retool and bring in different pieces, but give him structure, right? But let's just keep it a buck. Didn't the offense seem a bit more upbeat, a bit more potent when Zappe was in there? Granted, it was only a couple of games. Zappe, in my opinion, is not better than Mac Jones. There's not enough tape to prove that. But I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. I don't think the Mac Jones experience is gonna work. Whether it's a matter of his strengths not benefiting the New England offense, maybe it's Matt Patricia bum ass not giving the right call, because you can see Mac Jones himself is frustrated on the sideline talking about quit running the ball. The fucking run game sucks. Pass the ball. It's a collective of different things, right? But when Zappe was in and they were still running with the same coordinator, the offense was a bit more upbeat, had a bit more life in there. Not to say Mac Jones isn't capable, but something's not clicking between Patricia, Jones, the offensive pieces. Devontae Parker is not really getting much targets. He's also not getting as much separation, right? McDaniels leaving is definitely really hurts them. Absolutely, really, really hurts them. Send Mac Jones to the Dolphins. Why would that happen? Tua Tagovailoa Areola is out there starting. But the wide receiving core isn't anything special, right? The tight end room isn't necessarily producing. I'm at a point now where I think if you bring in a different quarterback, and don't get me, Jacoby Myers ain't, nothing special. He's an average, run-of-the-mill receiver. Nelson Aguilar, average run-of-the-mill receiver. Devontae Parker is a solid number 2. He's not a number 1, but it doesn't seem as if nobody's really making plays. Hunter Henry not really doing much. Jonnu Smith not really doing much. The offense just isn't working. Let's just look through the drives. If I'm not mistaken, opening drive, 3 and out, right? Buffalo goes down the field, gets a field goal. New England answers with a touchdown. Buffalo answers with a touchdown of their own. Then, these are the New England drives for the remainder of the game. 3 and out, punt. 3 and out, punt. 3 and out, punt. Then, they drove down the field and Nick Folk doinked off the upright. We go into the second half. They punt the football, but it should have been an interception. Remember, Jordan Poyer picked off the ball, but could not corral the football on the ground. For all intents and purposes, that's an interception, but he simply did not complete the catch. But the eye test says Mans threw a pick, right? So that would have been an interception, but it wasn't. Punt, right? 4 and out, punt. And then their last drive, they kicked the field goal, but they were already losing 24-10. The Patriots are in trouble. The offense is not working. The offense is not working whatsoever. So there's two things that I have with New England. For Buffalo, hell of a win. But since Josh Allen's injury, Buffalo ain't been the same. Buffalo has not been the same. They are no longer on paper or I should say, the eye test doesn't give the powerhouse that they were through the first 7 weeks of the season. But we'll touch on that slightly in a little bit. For New England, two things. For one, the offense has to get it together between Mac Jones and Matt Patricia, Bailey Zappi, whatever the case may be. Quarterbacks need to play better. Number two, the skill positions, fam, everybody's underperforming. Everybody's underperforming. New England's defense is all right. They've got a decent defense to go out there and win games. But my God, the skilled players, offensive coordinator, skill players, offensive coordinator, quarterback. Those guys right there, that's what's holding the team back. They got to get it together. As for Buffalo, like I stated earlier, the injury to Josh Allen with the elbow and everything, he hasn't looked the same. The offense hasn't looked the same. In fact, coming into the game, if I'm not mistaken, he had thrown 4 touchdowns, 5 picks over the course of 3, weeks or 4 weeks, whatever the case was. He was the early MVP front runner, and then the injury happened, and he has not been the same since. Moreover, on the defensive side, as the people are saying right now in the chat room, Von Miller's out for the year. Oh, that's big. That's big. That changes the trajectory of that defense. That changes the trajectory of that squad moving forward. Now, granted, is there still, they have that high-powered offense that can, score at will when necessary? That's still there. Defensively, they're still a solid football team. But best believe, postseason comes around, you're going to need a motherfucker like Von Miller out there to be the difference. And guess what? Him being out, that changes what the playoffs will look like for them moving forward. And because of how Josh Allen has not necessarily been as accurate, has not looked as confident since the injury, Buffalo is beatable. And they have been beatable since the injury. So although they did get that divisional win, they don't look as impressive anymore. I'm not going to slight them. They're still sitting at 9-3. But they are beatable. And they don't look invincible or anything of that nature because, let's just be honest, Patriots to put together 2 good drives, this is a different game. Who knows? Maybe we're seeing overtime. Maybe we're seeing something different because for all intents and purposes, they should have smashed the Patriots. The last 2 times they played, they scored 80 points on their heads, and they only were able to muster up 24, and it was a tough 24. So Buffalo, they gotta find some sort of Sinzu bean to give to Josh Allen so they can return back to what it was that they were doing before that man got hurt. But overall, the Patriots took a huge L, and I think the story of this game was more on the incompetence of the New England Patriots than it was the competitive nature of the Buffalo Bills. But big victory for the Buffalo Bills moving forward. Next up, we'll move to Sunday. Pittsburgh and Atlanta. First and foremost, Najee Harris killed a man. That stiff arm was incredibly unnecessary. He deleted a human being. And as far as I'm concerned, whoever that brother was, may you rest in peace. Then I'm seeing in the media there's a story regarding George Pickens being upset on the sideline. This is a non-story. It's a non-story. Of course, you want to have the football. Of course, it's ludicrous that you have 2 targets for 1 reception. But if I'm not mistaken, he was doing the same thing in Georgia. Obviously, receivers want to have the football. You want to be able to make plays. George Pickens has started making, strides with Kenny Pickett. So, of course, his brother's going to be frustrated. But they won the game. Winning heals all wounds. Move forward from there. Pittsburgh's defense did, enough to go ahead and get the W. Of course, with Pittsburgh, you still got to scratch your head because this was a situation where they could have ran away with this game, but they did not necessarily do so. Now, I will say this for Atlanta. I think the Mariota ship has sunk. It's time to put in Ritter. It's time to move on from Mariota. It was very sweet early on in the season. Right now, especially with what's happening in the NFC South, I think it's time for a change at quarterback. Because they still have a chance in their division, but I think it's time for a change at quarterback because Mariota has looked like absolute garbage between now and what was it? Middle of November, if not the beginning of November. They have not been that great. It's time for a change. Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. The Falcons were 4-4 when they were in front in the division. They were 4-4. Right now they're sitting 5-8. They've lost 4 of their last 5. It's time for a change at quarterback. Get Mariota on the bench. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. K-Dub said that Mike Tomlin himself not worried about picking. Steelers media is making something out of nothing because they don't like Tomlin. Correct. That is absolutely correct. Craig, put 5 on it, said, I respect the Steelers as a Ravens fan, so good luck to you. But we finna bend y'all over in the likes of which no other has ever seen before, hopefully. Well, I got bad news for you. That ain't fixing to happen. Pittsburgh's winning 3 in a row, but we're going to get to that a little later. One way or another. For Atlanta, I believe the ship has sailed on the Mariota experience. It's time for a change at quarterback. And get them up out of there because that team no longer looks confident. That team looks incredibly frustrated. That team looks like they need some sort of spark, and Mariota ain't gonna provide it. Atlanta's defense, a bunch of flakes that are over there as well. Both these teams still are alive in the playoff hunt, but let's just keep it a buck. Both Pittsburgh and Atlanta aren't playoff teams. They could mess around and, pull off a miracle and win out and sneak their way into the 7th seed, but they're not necessarily any sort of, playoff team, whatever the case is. Always paid me to say who really makes out of the NFC. We'll touch on that at the conclusion of our predictions for this upcoming week. Toretto, Patu said, just know the Eagles are winning it all. We shall get to that. Moving on from Atlanta and Pittsburgh, Green Bay and Chicago. Once more, don't you ever forget Aaron Rodgers owns your ass, Chicago Bears. It doesn't matter whether he has an amazing game or a regular average game. When Aaron Rodgers is on the field, the Packers will beat the Bears. But what about the 5 times the Bears won? Nobody cares. You've lost like 29 or 24, whatever the case is. The Bears are who we thought they were, choke artists. The Bears are who we thought they were, choke artists. Justin Fields went out there, ran for how long was a touchdown? Like 60 yards, 55-yard touchdown. This man did nothing after that. Absolutely nothing after that. Of course, he had the 1 touchdown pass to, I believe it was Equanimous St. Brown. But then after, nothing. Nothing. Call him first half Justin Fields, because what did the Bears do in the second half? Nothing but a goddamn field goal. Should be ashamed of himself. The Bears get owned every time they play the Packers. It's a guarantee. It's brutal, bro. I'm sorry, David. It's brutal out there. Listen, when you're a Bears fan, at the moment that halftime happens, you might as well just go home. Crack open a cold one and fucking have an adult beverage. They blow it every time. This was literally a game. It was literally a game. Rodgers didn't play amazing. He looked somewhat flustered out there. He only had 182 yards. Only a damn TD. But then all of a sudden, A.J. Dillon finding holes, running. Of course, the Christian Watson touchdown at the end, that was already to put it away. Turnovers. Let's take a look at the second half drives for the Bears, right? Here's the second half drive for the Bears. They went into halftime leading 16-10, right? Mind you, they was up 16-3. They allow Green Bay to go on a 13-play, 75-yard drive for 6 minutes. All of a sudden, now your defense can't stop nobody. Right? Here's what Chicago did in the second half. 3 and out. They're deep, mind you. Green Bay opened up with the football to start the second half. Green Bay went 3 and out. How did the Bears respond? They go 3 and out. They stop Green Bay again. They go 3 and out. They now get the football. They kick a field goal. Now, listen to what happens after this. Green Bay, in 4 plays, score a touchdown. How did that happen? Well, because the penalty, a defensive pass interference for 38 yards, brought them all the way down the field. Obviously, I believe pass interference is one of the biggest bullshit penalties, in the league. I think it should be maxed out at 15 yards. I don't believe it should be a spot foul. I always thought that was bullshit, right? But A.J. Dillon runs 21 yards. He scores a touchdown, right? Then, what ends up happening? Chicago has their field goal blocked. right? We're going to add more points. Let's do something. But no. They have it blocked. Once the field goal block happened, all of the momentum done left. What happens after that? Justin Fields, interception straight into the hands of Jari Alexander. Then Green Bay scores again. Off of the Christian Watson score. What do they do on their final drive of the game? Another interception picked off by Nixon. The hell Chicago doing in the second half? What does Chicago do in the second half? Choke. Defense can't play defense no more. Offense can't play offense no more. It happens all the time. Remember when Chicago was like, I think they was 500 early on. They got 3 wins. How many games in a row has Chicago lost? How many games in a row has Chicago lost, bruh? Golly. Jesus Christ. Chicago hasn't won since they beat the Patriots in prime time. How long ago was that game? Last year? That was week 8. Week 8. We enter in week 14. Boy. What the fuck? How the hell y'all lose that much? What are they doing? The last 6 weeks have been nothing but L's. L's. Remember that 4-game stretch? Chicago scored at least 24 points and they all took L's. Bro, you lost 6 straight. Pack them up. You know where Chicago at right now? Because once more, it was Green Bay that told them to take out their Metro cards, get aboard the L train, but moreover, consider their names written down the death note because their dreams of contending in the postseason has been absolutely deleted, bruh. You kidding me? Every single week, you can count on the Bears losing. I'd be ashamed of myself, dog. They got to do better. They have got to do better. Come on now. Oh, my parlays is looking kind of good right now. I ain't going to lie to you. My parlays is looking kind of, oh, no, Gary Trent got 9 points. That one's not good. Oh, that one's not good. Oh, well, this one's looking all right. At least this one's looking all right. Oh, no, DeMar DeRozan got two rebounds in the first half. Oh, Jesus. You know what? I'll take that back. Yeah, I'll take all that back. Yeah, the parlays ain't looking too good at all. At least the 2000 one might be looking kind of good, but whatever the case may be. Chicago, they in the death note. It's bad. Rich said, did I see the new buns in box? There's a buns in boxing. Wait a minute. What you talking about? Oh, is that the one where they were twerking in the ring? I'm going to get to that in a bit. I'm going to do some commentary on that one. I got to find it. Toretto. Oh, you said the Eagles are winning it all. Macho, Echidna, Uganda, Randy Savage, Knuckles. Put 420 on it. Said, how wild is this wild card going to be? How wild? I think there's going to be a few blowouts. I think the 4 and 5 matchup will be the only competitive matchups. Actually, no. The 3 6s will be as well, but I think 2 7s, both sides of the both sides are going to be straight up, blowouts, whatever the case may be. But the Bears deletion. For the Packers, great moral victory. Does this mean that the playoffs and running the table is on the horizon? Not just yet, because they have quite the journey to try to run the table and get that 7th seed. But for the Packers, this wasn't really an impressive game. This is anything that should have changed people's minds. But good victory for them, good moral victory. And, of course, you should have seen this coming. This is Aaron Rodgers playing against the Chicago Bears. Just his presence being on the field. People were talking about, yo, why don't you start Jordan Love? If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, you start Aaron Rodgers. You just paid the man. Don't sit him now. Next year, if he's struggling and you want to sit him. But there's been a collective of reasons why they haven't necessarily went and, played at a high level. I'm not going to, take any pressure off of Rodgers' shoulders. I'm not going to do that whatsoever. He has also played very bad as well. But that brother healthy, you leave him in the doggone game. Keith Dynamite, for 5-1 said, do I think Justin Fields would have been better in Carolina given the recent O-line upgrade? No. I think he would have had the same problem in Carolina. Because I think he needs to be, and I said this before, I think he needs to be around a coach that primarily works with quarterbacks to go out there and get that man at get that man to perform at the highest level possible. I think quarterbacks like him need to be groomed by quarterback coaches You got to have a coach that truly can get this man to learn the essence of passing the ball. Because you know where Justin Fields could have really excelled? In Baltimore. You put Justin Fields in Baltimore, I'm not going to say he's going to be playing at the same level of Lamar Jackson, but he has to play in an offense that gears towards his strengths. And it doesn't seem as if that's the case out there. One way or another, Packers got themselves a W. Next, Detroit took on Jacksonville, and where's my bat? It's out of reach. Let's just use the flashlight. Best way to explain that game. This is Jacksonville. This is Detroit. That's Detroit fucking Jacksonville. Because Detroit went out there, used some Detroit urban survival training, and decided to show Jacksonville what it's like to get beat down, bruh. This was, I believe, Detroit's best win of the season. Huge win. And guess what? They are right back in the mix of things. I already said Detroit was my sleeper to make the postseason in the NFC. They're still alive. Granted, do I think it's going to happen? I have zero confidence. I don't want to say zero, but my confidence is waning on them messing around and getting to the postseason. But I will say this. Detroit, this was their best game by far. This was their best performance by far. Good for them. I'm happy for them. I am happy for them. Penton or Pent Von Doom, my apologies. Pent Von Doom, but 2 on. Said Philly taking it all this year. Have faith. What up? Dark Hero said, do I think New England will try to go after Frank Reich as an OC? I hope so. I really hope. But you doubt at the same time. In fact, I would hope that Frank Reich, not if he doesn't go to New England, come to Pittsburgh. First thing I should say is come to Pittsburgh. But if it doesn't work, then get him up out of here. But I would love Frank Reich in Pittsburgh. Matt Canada, get me somebody who works with quarterbacks. Get me a former quarterback. Get me somebody who can really work with somebody. But there is that. But the Lions, 4-1 in the last 5, baby. 4-1 in the last 5. Moreover, they, throughout the early parts of the season, what's wrong with me? Throughout the early parts of the season, they lost those 50-50 games. Like last year, the Lions can be a winning football team. Detroit has got the blueprint. They've just got to go out there and stay consistent. Jamal Williams, if I'm not mistaken, leading the league in touchdowns. I believe he might be leading the league in touchdowns. He should. I think he has 14 right now. Right? Jared Goff, his best game of the season. He was throwing lights out. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 11 catches, 114, 2 touchdowns. DJ Baby Shark, 98 yards through the air. They balled out. They absolutely balled out, and I'm so happy for those guys over there, man. I'm so happy for those guys over there, man. Congratulations to the Detroit Lions, and for Jacksonville, we'll pack them up. They're heading into the Death Note next week. Jared Goff had not looked that confident all season long, bro. He's had some good games. I think this was his best game because he commanded that offense. Detroit looked good. I like the way they looked. Cody said, you don't want to see Detroit in 2023. All right, now. All right, let's slow down now. let's slow down now. Big Humphreys said, got any advice for feeling better after feeling down after a while? Here's one thing that you can do. For one, you find if you don't have a hobby, find a hobby, right? Try different shit. Go on Groupon, go on Eventbrite, look for different sort of things that are going on that pique your interest. Now, if you're somewhat of a loner, you'd rather be by yourself, cool, no problem. Then do things that bring you joy, right? And then you just do that for a time period and then try to take that feeling and bring it into everyday, life. That will definitely be able to, drag you out of that being in a funk for sure. John D said, what up? My Commanders are 7-5-1 after that BS game against the Giants. I'm going to need Scott Turner to put his motherfucking head back down. You ain't wrong about that. We're going to get to that game in a little bit. Braylon put 2 on, said, Detroit, baby. Yes, indeed. Craig put 5 on, said, the Lions are the only team I think universally everybody wants to see succeed, right or wrong. I agree that is the case. Because not only because of Hard Knocks, but also because of Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell is somebody you can't help but cheer for. So there is that. Next up, Jets and Minnesota Vikings. Let me tell you something right now. I'm not one of those motherfuckers who believe that, oh, you should just go ahead and change quarterbacks because one guy is kind of down right now in the dumps and not in the good graces or whatever the case may be. But I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. Mike White looked good. Mike White looked good. Now, granted, he had a rough game. He had a rough first half. Things didn't look that great. But when the Jets were making their comeback, by God, did you not believe that Mike White was going to pull one out of his ass and win the goddamn game? I thought Mike White was fixing to go and win the doggone game, dog. He had the ball in Barrios' hands, and Barrios couldn't hold on to the doggone football. Right? Now, granted, there was a little bit of hands that was in there, but he got to squeeze at that point. You got to catch that football. Then you drive him back down the field once more. Mike White looked good. Is he going to be the real deal, legit sort of situation? I can't go that far. I think maybe it's a matter of not having as much tape. But Mike White, I ain't going to lie to you, dog. That offense it reminded me of what New England was looking like when Bailey Zappi came in. It reminded me of what New England was looking like when Bailey Zappi came in. It's a change of pace. Everybody out there look like they really want to go and play football. I don't know what it is, man. It's a different change of pace when that brother is out there. But I will say this, Minnesota moves on to 10-2, and Minnesota got the job done. This was a game that they actually should have blown. Because for all intents and purposes, they kind of just played on autopilot in this game. They didn't do anything that was very impressive. They survived, in my opinion. This game was more about the Jets than it was about the Minnesota Vikings. But granted, Minnesota got themselves that W. But Mike White, he nearly won this game. But luckily enough, the resilient Minnesota defense ricocheted the football, was able to get themselves an interception. Dreadhead King said, where them likes at? You ain't wrong about that. Get them likes up. We only got 271 in the bill. Come on now, hit that like button. Let's get to 350. Hit that like button. Help a brother out. Garrett Wilson said he would die for Mike White. Well, that's all you got to hear. You got players talking about they would die for a certain quarterback. Fam, he's the guy. When Zach Wilson gets his opportunity once more, he better not squander it. I promise you right now, this fixing to be Mike White's fucking football team. I'm telling you right now, he fixing to be that guy. Salah is a good coach. Yes, indeed he is. Minnesota's 3-0 against the AFC East. Yes, they are. But Mike White looks good, dog. Mike White looks good. I'll say this about Minnesota. This was a game that Justin Jefferson didn't really do too much, right? I think in the media, who was it? There was a Jets secondary player who was actually talking trash. Should have never did that. Come on now. There was double coverages. There were different sort of schemes. Granted, this man didn't go for like 180 or whatever the case was, but let's not make it seem as if Mans was completely locked up. They wouldn't let him out. He found the end zone. Somebody scored a touchdown. Shut the fuck up. Don't ever talk. But Minnesota did enough to go out there and get themselves a W. And they're sitting comfortably at 10-2. And if I'm not mistaken, they will lock up the division next week. If all they have to do is win, and I believe they will lock up the division. So congratulations to Minnesota getting the job done. But my God, the Jets look like they're in good hands with Mike White. But here is my biggest fear for New York. Right? I almost said New England. Here's my biggest fear for New York. Right? Because they've lost 3 of their last 5. Right? After winning 4 in a row. They've got Buffalo, a streaky Detroit. Let's be honest. A trap game against the Jaguars, Seattle, which are a good football team, and then ultimately the Dolphins, who I believe will be incredibly desperate in the last week of the season. I'm going to put this out right now. Y'all think the Jets making the playoffs? Listen to their last 5. They're at Buffalo, playing home against Detroit, Jacksonville, Seattle, Miami. I ain't going to lie to you, dog. I'm slightly concerned for them. You want to know why? Because they look like a football team that can mess around and slip at the worst time. I'm slightly concerned for them. They got to win 3 of 5. I think if they win 3 of 5, 10-7, they can get into the playoffs, right? But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. It's any given Sunday. But, fam, I ain't going to lie to you, dog. If they take that L next week, well, this upcoming week against the Bills, right? When they go and play Detroit, because Detroit playing like they got nothing to lose. I don't know. And it depends on the QB situation, because how long can Mike White keep this up? For New York, fam, I don't know. Yeah, I miss Breece Hall too. I ain't gonna lie to you, though. It's gonna be interesting. Y'all let me know in the comments. Put a 1 in the chat if you think the New York will make the playoffs. Put a 2 in the chat if you think New York will miss the playoffs. That is the Jets that I'm speaking about here. I don't know. I think they might lose 3 or 5, dog. I think they might lose 3 or 5. I think they're gonna miss the playoffs because they're gonna choke. I think the Jets will be the choke artist for this season. I think they'll be the choke artist for this season. Oh, it's looking 50-50. I'm seeing some ones. Julio done said 2. Nico said 2. Dark Aris said 2. John said 2. Kiara said 2. Kush God said 1. Braylon Pafavon said, have I been to any New York-related football games? I have been to the Jets versus Steelers. I've been to Giants versus Steelers in a preseason game. I went to Jets versus Colts 4 years ago. Very good game, I might add. I believe the score ended like 42 to 35. It was a cool game. There was like 3 defensive touchdowns. No, I think it was 2 defensive touchdowns, whatever the case was. Ooh, Jameson Williams is back. Oh, boy. Wait, Jameson Williams is back? Shit. Oh, Lord. Son is activated. It's time, Detroit. It's time, Detroit. I don't think the Jets is going to mess around and qualify. New York and Washington. Speaking of the other New York team, who I believe will ultimately choke. That tie may have saved their ass, but in the end, I think they fixing to sit at the bottom of the division. Let me say this right now. New York will be the team that closes out the season the most disappointing. You started 6-1, I promise you, they will close out the season in pain. Why is that? They got the Eagles coming up. I believe the Eagles will take care of business. They're going to play the Commanders once more coming off the bye. I think Commanders going to take care of business. Then you've got the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to take care of business as well. The Colts and then the Eagles. Colts, nobody really know how to feel about the Colts right there. They might get a W over there, but I think the Giants are going to close the season out 1-4. I think they're going to close out the season 1-4. I think they're going to be just like the Giants of the mid-2000s. Freaking start out strong, fall off a goddamn cliff. I have no confidence in this New York Giant football team. You want to know why? They can't close games. Like I said earlier on in the season, they were able to benefit of other teams fucking themselves. This time around, it will not work in their favor. They should have put Washington away. They had a chance to put Washington away, and they did not. All they had to do was pick up a couple first downs. They couldn't do that. Washington gets the football, drives down the field, 90 goddamn yards in 2 minutes. It took 2 minutes. They go down the field and even up the score. Then in overtime, neither team wanted to win. Neither team wanted to win in overtime. I can't say much about that. But New York football Giants, hey, this was your opportunity. If they won this game here, they could have messed around and got themselves in a situation where come hell or high water, they could mess around and qualify for the postseason. But this right here, this tie, that screwed them in my opinion. Because in 2 weeks, Washington will take care of business. They had one job, pick up a first down on 3 different drives. They could not do that. True Blue said, are the Colts still playoff contenders? Has he put 2 on it? Absolutely not. Colts, playoff contenders? That ship has sailed. Take the L out of love. That offensive line will get you killed, brother. Peyton put 2 on it. Said, nah, 11-6 incoming. Save this $2 message. Well, I'm telling you right now, that ain't fixing to happen. 1205 for life. Put 2 on. Said, how do I feel about Aaron Judge contract? Congratulations. PA Kid put 2 on it. Said, Eagles won't have starters versus the Giants in Week 18. And guess what? Those backups are still going to beat the doggone Giants. Dwayne put 2 on, said 49 is super W. Big W for them. Flash said, please replenish my merch. You need the t-shirts. Hey, it's coming. It just won't be here by Christmas, unfortunately. But it is coming. But Washington showcasing their resiliency. Now, granted, they didn't win what I believe would have been their 7th in a row. However, they still show signs of a football team that simply does not quit. Granted, things didn't work out in their favor in overtime, but they showcased that they simply cannot be put away. They're gonna continue to fight, and that's Riverboat Ron's, lasting legacy. He's got teams that refuse to give up, But I have no confidence. No. Here's the thing, right? Here's my problem with the Jets. When you watch the Jets through the first 10 weeks of the season, you say, oh, boy, this is a team that can get the job done, right? Then Zach Wilson ultimately doesn't take responsibility for, his role in the team taking an L. Mike White now steps in at quarterback. And if there's anything that we know about football, if you have two quarterbacks, then you have no quarterback. So there's already a quarterback controversy while you're trying to close out the season strong. So what happens now? Mike White threw 2 interceptions, right? But that last pick came at the end of the game. So how long is Mike White allowed to struggle? Or at the same time, how long is Zach Wilson allowed to struggle? Because that's the case, you're in a situation where for New York, and we're talking New York quarterbacks here, where you got to look at it and say, man, is this really what you want to have going on trying to get into the postseason? Me thinks not. Then with the Giants, they're just not that good of a football team. So I have no confidence in the Giants. I said since the beginning of the season, they're frauds. I'll give them a respect based on their record, but since the beginning of the season, they're frauds. They started 6-1, and they're sitting right now at 7-4-1. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Them boys are some doggone frauds. Washington Commanders, hey, they've got some grit. Unfortunately, in overtime, they couldn't figure out a way to goddamn score. But one way or another, they got some grit. Now, Tennessee Titans, Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown, Tennessee Titans. How you like that apples? How you like them apples? Take it. They got fucked. This was the worst game Tennessee played all season. Nothing looked good. They couldn't throw. They couldn't run. They couldn't defend. Jalen Hurts absolutely torched them motherfuckers. If you had any question on who is the MVP of this league right now, who's the front runner, if your answer is not Jalen Hurts, I think you're lying. What about Joe Burrow? No, if your answer is not Jalen Hurts, I think you're lying. What about Patrick Mahomes? If it's not Jalen Hurts, I think you're lying. He is the front runner for MVP right now. That brother is, whether it's 2 weeks ago against Green Bay where he's running for 100+ yards in the first quarter, or he's throwing for nearly 400. Every single week, Jalen Hurts out there putting on a show. He's a front runner for the MVP, and Philadelphia took care of business. They are the best team in the NFL right now. But they're going to choke in the postseason. We ain't there yet. They are the best team in the NFL right now. Give them your respect. Pay them your respect. Show them some respect because they out there balling week in, week out. They look good. Worst game for the Titans was that 41-7 Bills game. Well, wasn't that early? If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that at the beginning of the season? Right? That was the beginning of the season. Nobody really played in the preseason, anything of that nature. I always say with football, right, I don't count the first month. Now, don't get me wrong. The records matter. You start 0-4, that's going to be brutal, right? You 500, that shit really don't matter in the beginning of the season because with the preseason now only being 3 games, starters not even really playing outside of what, like 1 or 2 drives all preseason. Nobody really knows what kind of football team they fixing to be. When the Titans started hitting their stride, they won 5 in a row. They was looking like a good football team. There's that. But I think this was their worst game because they was actually in stride. They knew what their identity was. Derrick Henry was on a prowl. These last 2 weeks, shit ain't been looking too good for him. Tennessee got to figure it out at quarterback because Ryan Tannehill, he's way too wishy-washy. I think this is his last season in Tennessee. Under no circumstance did I expect this man to be the leading rusher this Sunday. That's crazy. One way or another, Philadelphia absolutely fucked the Titans. Now, and I believe the Titans fired their GM. That's not a good look in the middle of the season. Stop Henry, you stop the Titans, correct, because the Titans don't have A.J. Brown over there at wide receiver. So who the hell's the threat for Tannehill to throw the football to? Well, he's got Burks. Burks a rookie. He's unproven. So for Tennessee, they will win the AFC South without question. They will win the AFC South, but man, it's time for them to dip. It's time for them to dip. They aren't looking like contenders. They're looking like pretenders. There'll be somebody who wins the division. They'll have a home playoff team, playoff game. In the AFC, they'll probably be the 4 seed. Yeah, they'll probably be the 4 seed. But, oh, yes, and I agree. Use Robert Woods, but evidently they don't know how to. Robert Woods leaving Los Angeles was a problem. He should do everything in his power to get back to Los Angeles. He should do everything in his power to get back to Los Angeles. Is this Stafford's last season? I ain't going to lie to you. I wouldn't be surprised if Stafford retired. I think he'll play one more year and then he'll retire. I don't think Stafford going to be one of them motherfuckers who play for 18 seasons. I don't think that's happening. But huge win for the Eagles. Next, Baltimore and Denver. Broncos country. Let's hide. Russell Wilson has thrown 8 touchdowns on the year. 8 touchdowns on the year. We're entering week 14. Russell Wilson has thrown 8 touchdowns on the year. How? What is he doing? What in tarnation is that man doing, bruh? Garbage. And Baltimore was struggling. I'll say this right now for Baltimore. Baltimore ain't no Super Bowl team. I'll tell you that right now. They've been way too close in way too many games. It's been too long until their offense can finally get going. Injury to Lamar Jackson. Insert Hundley. Hundley was able to go and get the W, but if they were playing against an actual competent team, I don't think the Ravens would have won the doggone game. But my God. For the Ravens, you're in trouble. Because remember, last year when Lamar Jackson got hurt, you were sitting at, 8-3? You ended the season losing 6 in a row, ending 8-9 and missing the postseason. Lamar Jackson gets hurt once more. This time you're 8-4. What will be the fate of the Baltimore Ravens? Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. But they're talking about Lamar being week to week. What the hell does that mean? The type of style of play that he plays, his ankle, his hip, his knee is going to be in high volume. So since that's the case, I don't know how to feel about that brother's health. So one way or another, although Baltimore got the W, at what cost? At what cost? And as for the Broncos, listen, let me tell you something right now. Russell Wilson he's going to need to have a season of the ages next year to get that locker room back. Because I ain't going to lie to you, dog. They fucking hate him. They fucking hate him. They hate him. They do not like Russell Wilson at all, bruh. They don't like him at all. They gave this man $250 million. The team don't like this man, bro. It's over. Everybody in his face. They don't have no the offense goes out there and it's like it's garbage. It's a terrible season. Wilson's a corn dog. Wilson's going to need a miracle next season or he's going to be out of Denver and he'll be lucky if he gets another starting job somewhere, bruh. Ain't no way you fell off a cliff like that. Ain't no way. And you healthy? Ain't no way, dog. Brutal, bruh. Get him up out of there. Get him up out of there. Good win for Baltimore. They was able to duke it out and get a win with 28 seconds remaining. For the Broncos, they going into the Death Note next week. But for Baltimore, now you just operating on borrowed time. Can you buy enough time for Lamar to get healthy? He may not play this week, but he might play next. No. Don't rush Lamar back. Do not rush Lamar back. Because if Lamar gets hurt again, I promise you he will not get paid. So if he does, when he does, I should say, come back into, the fold of everything, I would hope he's at 100%. But for the Broncos, man, Russell Wilson out here, pack him up, dog. Pack him up. He need to show up next year. If he don't show up next year, retire, brother. Retire, brother. Because this season, there's been bad seasons. People could have bad seasons. This season for that brother, oh, Lord. Terrible. Next up, the return of Deshaun Watson against the Houston Texans. Well, we didn't see an offensive touchdown until, the tail end of the third quarter? Ain't that crazy? Oh, no, pardon me. It was the end of the fourth quarter is when we finally seen an offensive touchdown because we saw nothing but sloppiness all day. First play of the game, interception. Then you got 3 and outs, 4 and outs, fumble. You get a field goal from Houston, pick from Deshaun Watson, turnover on downs from Houston, safety from the goddamn Browns, punt return for a touchdown, then another field goal, interception for a touchdown, field goals, and then you finally get a touchdown at the end of the game. Like, what the hell was going on all day? What was going on all day? That was a weird game, dog. It was a weird game. It wasn't a happy ending whatsoever. Maybe for, Cleveland fans. It was a weird game. Josh Allen over Russell Wilson. We already know that. Biggest Knight said Lamar shouldn't have played this season. Go get paid. I agree. He should go focus on his future to go get paid. I agree on that. But you're still in a situation where you can compete. So since that's the case, you don't want to quit on your teammates for selfish reasons. Jay said, I was listening to the Broncos fan base. He was saying that he isn't trying to make an excuse for his sloppy play, but he isn't the only issue on the team in the front office. No. Russell Wilson's not the only problem on the team, and he's not making excuses for his play. The problem is like the nonchalant attitude. It's like granted, his unwavering faith, unyielding faith in God is definitely prevalent, and that's not a problem. The issue is when you're losing, right? You were paid $250 million to come in and get stuff going. You can't just sit there while your team is obviously floundering and you want to, hey, we're going to get him next time. Yeah, man, we're going to bounce back. Nobody trying to hear that. It's very tough to be a leader when you walk in with $250 million and you were supposed to be the savior and you ain't looking like a savior. That's where things get crazy because you walk in with $250 million, you playing like shit, and you looking at your team like, hey, man, we going to bounce back, man. Hey, ain't no biggie, man. Everybody makes mistakes. The fuck you supposed to be our salvation. What you talk about everybody make mistakes. You should not be making mistakes. That's the way things are probably looking at like in practice. That's how things are probably looking like in film study. That's how things are probably looking like in the locker room at the conclusion of the game. Money Moore, put 10 on it. Said teams that force 2 turnovers, give up 0 turnovers, and hold their opponents to 10 points or less are 206 in one of those games. The Broncos are the only team in history to take an L like that last Sunday. I'm not remotely surprised. Russell Wilson in the building. But 5 on it said going through a rough phase right now, but with my beautiful wife, Sierra, God, my family, I will be back to my MVP self. Broncos country. Let's ride. What you talking about, brother? Why you lying? Why you lying? Alex, but 5 on said if the Vikings keep winning, then the Eagles will have to play their starters week 18. Don't want to lose that 1 seed to a team that's right behind you. Correct. That is absolutely true. True Blue said that the Colts need a QB. Lamar Jackson come through. Oh, my. Danny put 2 on said, what are my thoughts on the XFL uniforms? I have not seen them. Riggs put 2 on said, Vikings and Bengals Super Bowl. Thoughts? It's a possibility. Who knows? Who knows? Daniel Hackett's on the hot seat. He's going to get fired. Oh, absolutely. He will get fired. But the Browns got themselves a W in a very wacky game with no real offense that happened. But one way or another, a victory is a victory. So congratulations to Cleveland. Keeping pace in the AFC. But I don't believe this is a team that can mess around and contend. Now, granted, they were, in a situation where you're still in the mix of things, but Deshaun Watson hasn't played football in a while, so obviously he's rusty. So give him some time to get himself back together, and we'll see how things play out. The Seahawks taking on the Rams in a surprisingly competitive game. And what do you know? With the game on the line, Geno Smith goes down the field and wins the goddamn game in a competitive divisional game. And they got the job done. Kudos to Geno Smith, man. 28 of 39, 367 yards, and 3 TDs, getting the job done on a game where the running game was simply not there. This was a Geno Smith party, bro. John Wolford did not play very well. The Rams was just trying not to, mess around and get dominated or not have a very good game. Aaron Donald, this season has not been Aaron Donald. I actually wouldn't be surprised if the man could mess around and retire at the end of the season. But this year actually will probably snap his all-pro streak and get 8 in a row. He is not playing. How many? He's got 5 sacks on the year. Good Lord. Aaron Donald is not happy, or he's not a happy camper right now. And they ruled him out. Yeah, it's over. His streak of all pros, it's over now. Yeah, it's over now. It's clipped. He still ain't gonna be coming back. It's clipped. What do I think about Seattle losing their whole their running back core to injuries? Brutal. It's brutal. But the Rams signed a savior to salvage their season. Insert Baker Mayfield. What will he do for that Rams offense? Well, he's stepping into a Rams offense where their best piece is Scooby-Doo Van Jefferson. You still got Allen Robinson over there? I don't know about all that. But one way or another, wait, Antonio Brown just posted a pic of Giselle again. I shouldn't even be entertaining this, but AB posted another photo of Giselle. What is his deal? No, he didn't. I don't see no post of him and Giselle. Is it on his store? Well, whatever the case may be. Yeah, I don't see no post of Giselle. But for the Rams, incredibly down season. They just locked a losing season, so they will be the first losing season defending champion since, I believe, the Bucs in 2003. Seattle showcased some resiliency, able to go down to the wire and pull off a comeback in a game. Obviously, divisional games is going to be very competitive. So people, oh my God, I can't believe they was still in the game. How did that happen? No, divisional teams, you find a way to make it a game, one way or another. But for the Rams, it's a down season. It's a wash. You can only hope that Aaron Donald doesn't retire, and understand that they will be in salary cap hell because they bet it all on the line to win a Super Bowl. It worked in their favor, but moving forward, man, it's gonna be tough. Oh, it's on Snap. It's him with Giselle, and it was on Snap. Why am I searching for Antonio Brown posts? Come on now. I'm gonna do 4 scrolls. If I don't see his joint 4 scrolls, well, shit clip. Yep, I don't see no Antonio Brown this clip. Whatever the case is, for Seattle, they look good. I believe they're a playoff team. Will they be legitimate contenders? I don't know. But they look good. I believe there will be a playoff team, but they'll mess around and they'll be a one and done. And speaking of other playoff teams, San Francisco was able to endure Jimmy Garoppolo's broken ankle. Insert Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy, and they was able to go out there and get themselves a W despite playing against the Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill went for another beastly day, 9 catches, 146 yards, and a touchdown, but Tua Tagovailoa turned the ball over. And they could not get the job done. Tyreek Hill has absolutely slowed down in the past couple of games, bro. Because he was on my God, he was on a crazy span, but then 140. But no, he actually still got time. I'm tripping. I'll take that back. because he had a 44-yard and an 85. Yeah, I'll take that back. He's still dogging. But they simply could not get the job done. This was a disappointment for Miami because I can't believe they didn't mess around and win this game. When Garoppolo got hurt, right? When Garoppolo got hurt, it was on the opening drive, right? It was on the opening drive of this game right before a field goal. After, remember, the first play from scrimmage, Dolphins took the lead with the touchdown. Dolphins go 3 and out. Brock Purdy leads these motherfuckers on a touchdown drive. Dolphins even up the score. Purdy throws an interception. Dolphins can't do anything with the football. Purdy takes him back down the field for a score. Who is this man? Who is this man? Could this just be a matter of you not knowing how to prepare for him? Perhaps. You got caught by surprise? Perhaps. But I will say this, that 49ers defense ain't no joke. I don't give a damn who's playing quarterback. That 49ers defense ain't no goddamn joke whatsoever. How good would the 17 Warriors versus the 2013 Heat finals be? All players in their prime? Well, for one, you can't take all players in their prime in 2013 from Miami because at that point they still were playing very well, but Wade was still, he was Wade to a degree, but he ain't Wade 2009 and all that other stuff. So 2017 Warriors is probably the greatest team ever assembled. So as far as I'm concerned, though, they're winning that game. The only team that could probably contend with that squad would be the freaking the 96 Bulls, because the 2017 Warriors, if they really wanted to, they could have messed around and did that 73-9 situation. If they really wanted to, they could have. But PA the Kid, Patuon said Prescott is a fraud, 1 playoff win. Well, this season they can mess around and win a bit more. Barack 09 Patuon and said Chiseled like the hoodie, cute. Wait, like the hoodie. Hashtag tongue and balls. What the hell does that mean, sir? What's going on over here? But 49ers defense is legit. And I would love to sit here and say it don't matter who's playing quarterback. And I think that's for the regular season. We'll see how things play out in the postseason. But my God, that 49ers defense is absolutely suffocating. Nick Bosa might be the defensive player of the year. Those dudes out there balling. Defense getting 3 and outs, getting turnovers. They are balling. Week in, week out, getting the job done. Nick Bosa had what, 3 sacks? He's got 14 and a half on the season, leading the league. That brother dogging, bruh. And they taking care of business. You can't help but sit there and say, man, they pretty good. Fred Warner, dog. Hufanga, dog. Hope I said his name right. Dog. Who's coach of the year? Probably Sirianni. Dave in the building, what's going on? But 49ers defense, some dogs. For Miami, I think they'll bounce back. I think they just got shocked because nobody prepared for Brock Purdy. But one way or another, hell of a goddamn job from the 49ers to go out there and take care of business. Now, Cincinnati, Kansas City. Let me say this right now. Kansas City has met their match. Cincinnati has their number. This is the first loss that Mahomes has taken in December since 2019. And you know what's crazy? This was another situation where Kansas City blew it. I think this is their 3rd time blowing it against the fucking Bengals. They just could not finish. Travis Kelce's fumble cost them this game. Obviously, we all know that. But Travis Kelce's fumble cost them this game. Protect the goddamn football. And he did not. Put the ball on the ground at the worst possible time. You're a first-team All-Pro. You're the best tight end in the league. You got to protect the football. You're on a drive that truly can lock up this. You would have messed around. If they scored, they would have messed around and led by 2 possessions. But instead, you put the ball on the ground and you lose this football game. You tried to tie with 4 minutes left. Butker's kick sailed wide to the right, no good. But it was Travis Kelce's fumble that cost them this game. Third downs down the stretch. Bengals find a way to convert. They find a way to convert. They were 7 of 11. Here's the thing. Kansas City was converted on third downs. The problem is when they needed to get stops on defense, they could not. The Bengals are the Chiefs' kryptonite, right? The Bengals are the Chiefs' kryptonite. I don't know what it is. People are chalking it up to Joe Burrow, whatever the case may be. I don't know what it is. But one way or another, when the lights is on, it's time to perform. The Bengals have the Chiefs' number, period. Period. Kansas City literally had the game in their hands. They were putting together a drive that could have messed around and won the game. And you could see going into that drive, this is like, yo, this is the drive right here. It's the start of the fourth quarter. Got to make something happen. These motherfuckers over here, ball on the ground. Kansas City lose the football. Joe Burrow ends up converting on a couple of third downs, finding his people in the end zone, scoring a goddamn touchdown, taking the lead. Kansas City go back down the field once more, trying to answer with a field goal. It sails wide to the right, no good. Bam. Ball game. Can't get off the field. Come on now. Chiefs got to step it up. They're going to have to figure it out, and I promise you, they will see Cincinnati again. They will see Cincinnati again. These two teams, they are not finished. They've got unfinished business for sure. They will see each other again. Best believe they will. Best believe they will. But huge win for the Bengals. And let me tell you something right now. The Bengals, I said they would miss the playoffs coming into this season. And I ain't going to lie to you, dog. I was wrong. This is a playoff football team. They playing like a playoff football team. They had those 50-50, losses early on in the season, but they have bounced back since, and they look good. Jamar Chase is healthy. Man, the Ravens injured. Pittsburgh, forget about them. Cleveland, stop it. These dudes going to win the division. I wasn't supposed to say that early, but they going to win the division. Cincinnati look good. Who they say going to beat them Bengals? Not the Chiefs. I'll tell you that right now. AB Patuan said, went to the pool and took off my shorts. # put that shit on. That don't make no sense. Shouldn't be, but take that shit off. Whatever the case may be. Patrick Frog Mahomes took an L. And the Chiefs fell to 9-3. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, they're number 2 in the AFC because Buffalo had taken that number 1 seed because they had beaten the Chiefs earlier on in the season. Next, we move on to Las Vegas and the Chargers. Let me tell you something right now. Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Derek Carr. That triplets, boy, they looked all right. Moreover, I really even shouldn't say triplets because it's not really so much Derek Carr. It's really Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams. Those two have been on an absolute tear. They have been on an absolute tear. The Chargers, well, they're going to choke away the season. Classic Chargers. And now no Chargers, no. But Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, boy, those two dudes right there, beasts. Monsters. Absolute monsters. Mike Tomlin is willing a 500 season. I don't know how. I actually believe that he will as well. Chopper Man said Adams carried your ass in fantasy for like 5 straight weeks. Those two dudes, beasts. And you know what's crazy? If the Raiders actually didn't play like absolute garbage, or I should say, if they didn't mess around and, lose those 50-50 games earlier on in the season, they're probably sitting at 8-4. But unfortunately, that's not the case. They'll finish the season strong. Will they make the postseason? They might have to sneak in a Week 18 situation similar to last year. But one way or another, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, beasts. The run game for the Chargers, non-existent. They didn't get a chance to try to establish the run game because they had to freaking throw. Justin Herbert, once again, over 45 throwing attempts. But it wasn't enough to get back into this game. The Vegas Raiders took care of business. And guess what? They gonna mess around and sneak their way into second place in this division. Now, will they win the division? No, it's still the Chiefs' division. But they're going to mess around and make something happen. They're going to mess around and make something happen. This final couple of weeks in the playoff stretch, some shit's fixing to, mess around and shake up. Best believe some shit fixing to shake up. Because right now, the postseason brackets, we're going to get to that in a bit. Right now, the postseason brackets are Buffalo, the number 1 seed in the AFC, the Chiefs, number 2, Baltimore, 3, Tennessee, 4, right? Then you got the Jets at the 7, Miami at the 6, Cincinnati at the 5. I think there's going to be some subject to change. I'll touch on that in a bit. But my God, Las Vegas, they can mess around and shake some shit up. Down the stretch, they can shake some shit up. Do I think the Cowboys are going to catch the Eagles? Catch them? No, but they will see them. They will see them. Do the Panthers still have a chance at the playoffs? Come on now. They still got a chance. Will they actually qualify? Fuck no. Now we got to go to the prime time. Sunday night football, where we saw, good Lord, through 3 quarters, it was a competitive football game. And then all of a sudden, the Indianapolis Colts done messed around, and they ran into, them boys, we got Dick. We took care of business, baby. We got Dick. We got Dick. Amari Cooper. Derry had a CD Lamb. Derry had a CD Lamb. Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs. We that boys. Nobody gonna stop us. 4th quarter, we kicked their ass. They came out here. They was only trailing but 2. And then what happened? We scored with Michael Gallup finding the end zone. That's the sound of a horse. Then we intercepted the football, or I should say we forced a fumble. We returned it for a touchdown. And then we caught an interception. We scored another touchdown. And then we stripped the fumble. And then we scored another touchdown. And then we caught another interception. We scored 33 points in the 4th quarter. Nobody gonna stop us now. We may be number 2, or I should say number 2 in the division, and we number 5 on the playoff race. But let me tell you something right now. We number 1 in the NFC, and nobody gonna stop us. We gonna win in the wild card. We gonna win the divisional. We gonna win the NFC championship. We gonna win the Super Bowl, and we gonna win 6 rings. We them boys. Nobody gonna stop us now. What the hell happened, bro? Somebody keep taking over my goddamn stream, bro. I need to figure out how to
teach a man how to squabble.
I gotta learn how to squabble, dog. Cause everything keep going black out of nowhere, bro. One way or another, the Dallas Cowboys scored 33 points in the 4th quarter, bro. 54-19. Let me tell you something right now. Matt Ryan, hey, pack him up. How you doing? Keep him moving. Pack that brother up, dog. Get him up out of here. Get him up out of here. Pack him up. Offensive line refuses to block for that man. He can't even get rid of the football and find nobody. Pack him up. It's over. Take the L out of Lover. That brother, season over, brother. Long neck Poppy need to be on the bench. For Dallas, that was impressive. That was impressive. That was an impressive showcase. Domination was on the marquee in the 4th quarter. They took care of business. They absolutely went out there. They took care of business. Zeke is a number 2. I agree. Zeke is now the number 2. Tony Chopper Pollard is a number 1 over there. And Zeke, this will be his last year in the Cowboys uniform. But my God, they took care of business. They went out there. They took care of business. Dallas showcase why they are not contenders. In fact, I believe the Cowboys are actually contenders for real this season. I think this is by far their best team since 2016. I think this Cowboys, team can actually go out there and make some noise. Tiger put 5 on and said if it was Nancy, oh, maybe it was. AB put 2 on and said Giselle put them kids to sleep. Hashtag put that shit on. What you talking about? What you talking about? What you referencing? Javion said against the 4-8 Colts is impressive when Matt Ryan is washed and giving out donations. The 4th quarter, you got to admit, 33 points in the 4th quarter, that's impressive. The game was relatively close. And then all of a sudden, 4th quarter hit, different football team. Different football team. And they showed up and murdered the Colts. Absolutely, Noah. They murdered the Colts. had the best of them. And last but not least, Monday Night Football, Saints, Buccaneers. And let me say this. The Saints absolutely blew it. They had a chance to win the goddamn game. 5:34 on the clock. You saw it in the commentary yesterday. 5:34 on the clock. These motherfuckers are going to throw the football on 3rd and 1. Do you even want to win the football game? What are you throwing the football for? What are you throwing the football for? You run the ball, whether you convert or you don't convert, run the football, chew up more clock. You want to know why that final possession with Tampa Bay happened? Because they didn't run the football. Moreover, Tampa Bay was able to keep their one timeout because of the throw to Taysom Hill. Tampa Bay was able to keep their one timeout throughout the entire final drive. They didn't even need to use it. If you run the ball on 3rd and 1, if you don't convert, Tampa now gets the football with 4:50-something, 4:40-something on the clock, right? Then they have to go the 90 yards in 2 minutes or whatever. When New Orleans gets the football back, instead of run, take a sack, then throw, you could just run, waste all day timeouts, and now you could play the waiting game. Because there's instead of them taking the field slightly ahead of the 2-minute warning, you now have them taking the field after the 2-minute warning with no timeouts. But no, that's not how we want to play football. The moment that I saw them throw the football to Callaway when you haven't targeted him all goddamn day, immediately, y'all saw it on stream, I'm over there looking at them like,
uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
What is going on? Who made the decision for this? Y'all don't want to win. Y'all don't want to win. Ridiculous, bruh. How? You literally would have been number 1 in the division, and you choke like that? Brutal. Brutal. I don't understand. Every single week, at least one primetime game, there's poor clock management. Oh, wow. I took an L on 3 parlays. Oh, I'm sick. Damn, I'm about to take an L on all my parlays. I'm sick. I had a big one, and it's clipped. Yeah, it's clipped. I'm sick. Yeah, I'm taking an L on all my parlays. It's over. Damn. Take a look at my big parlay here that I had. I would have had it. I put 100 to turn into 2,000. Paul George got 1 more rebound, and Kawhi Leonard fell short by 2. Damn, I'm sick. Then for 20 to turn into 4, Kelly Oubre had slightly higher to cost me. Kelly Oubre scored 1 basket that cost me. I'm 1 leg parlay again. Now I'm about to miss on this one. Because Drew Holiday 1 assist away from costing me. And then the last one, Gary Trent scored 1 basket that cost me, bruh. And of course, that Keegan Murray's going to mess around and score. I'm sick. Oh, Mitchell Robinson got time. I'm sick. AB put 2 on it. Said it's 9 p.m. and you can't stop touching yourself. #God. What is going on, sir? Sir, what is going on? What part of the game is this? Hit the like button if you haven't already. I'm sick. Done missed on my parlay. I'm going to participate in 1 more before the night is over. But that concludes it for Week 13. If your team got on the L train, that's unfortunate. Now, let's make our predictions for this upcoming week. First and foremost, Thursday Night Football. We're going to breeze through. Then I'm going to give you my predictions for the who's going to win the divisions and then ultimately represent each team, or I should say each conference in the Super Bowl. We'll blaze through this. Now, Thursday Night Football, Prime Video. I will be live tomorrow evening as well. Raiders, Rams. Give me the Raiders to win on the road. I don't need to say much about the Rams. I have no confidence in them whatsoever. The Raiders can mess around and cost themselves the season right here, but they cannot afford, under any circumstances, to lose this game. Josh Jacobs is balling. Javonte Adams, balling. And I don't think they're going to be able to slow them down. I'm 2 of 87 on parlay. Man, shit. At least on my wins, I had some big wins, but my God, I take some heavy losses. But one way or another, I got the Raiders winning on the road in Las Vegas. New York Jets, Buffalo Bills. Give me Buffalo at home, getting vengeance for their loss earlier on this season. Give me Buffalo winning. Cincinnati versus Cleveland. Upset alert. I think the Browns get a W here. If I'm not mistaken, the Browns have had Cincinnati's number since Joe Burrow arrived. They've had Cincinnati's number since Joe Burrow arrived. And I think that the Browns are going to get the job done once more. Granted, Cincinnati is rolling. They are rolling, coming off a huge win. But the Browns have had Cincinnati's number. If there's one thing the Browns have been able to do, man, they have had their number. They have had their number. Those dudes out there, they go out, they run the football. They're going to, I think Deshaun Watson may just have a great game as well. One way or another, they're going to go out there, and I think that's the upset alert. Give me the bum-ass Browns get a huge W on the road. Then, Houston taking on Dallas. Dallas about to murder them motherfuckers. Detroit versus Minnesota. Oh, boy. Detroit versus Minnesota. I ain't gonna lie to you. Upset alert! Give me the Lions to win at home over the Minnesota Vikings. You heard that right. Give me the Lions to get the upset alert on Minnesota. Give me the Lions. Jacksonville, Tennessee. Tennessee's going to take care of it. Tennessee, fam, Derrick Henry about to run for damn near 200 yards, bro. That brother want vengeance. Derrick Henry about to go crazy. New York Giants versus Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles going to roll. Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh taking care of business. No, Lamar Jackson. Taylor Huntley, you in trouble. TJ Watt going to have his coming out party this doggone game. Kansas City versus Denver. Broncos country. Let's die. Give me Kansas City. Tampa Bay, San Francisco. Listen, Tampa Bay is going to get this W because San Francisco ain't got no doggone quarterback. However, that defense is about to go crazy. But it's going to be Brock Purdy's inexperience that's going to cost them the doggone game. It's going to be Purdy that's going to cost them the doggone game. It can mess around and be San Francisco that wins, but I think there's going to be a turnover late in the game that's going to put them in field goal range, and Ryan Suckup is going to put together a field goal that's going to win them there. Seattle versus Carolina. Upset alert! Carolina's going to get a W here. Old man Brady in the game against San Francisco. I don't know what it is. I think he's not going to have a very good game, but San Francisco, offensively, they're going to choke. I think they're going to go out there and choke down the stretch. I think San Francisco is going to be comfortable, for the most part, and then the fourth quarter, things might fall apart. But give me Tampa Bay to win on the road in San Francisco. Upset alert, Carolina wins over Seattle. Then Miami and Los Angeles. The Chargers, that is. Miami fixing to get this W here. New England, Arizona. Come on now. Game of Kyler supposed to go out there and get the job done. Give me the Patriots to win because DeAndre Hopkins is going to be taken out of this game. Ain't no way in hell Bill Belichick is going to let that man go and get that W. Reckless Foundation Pateno say, hey, brother, just stopping by to show some love. I hope you're having an amazing stream. Yes, indeed. Give me the Patriots to win on the road because Gamer Kyler is not going to go out there and take care of business. I don't see it happening. AB Platoon said, Raiders sign me so I can ball with Derek Carr. Oh, my. But Chargers and Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins to win this game. So here are my predictions for this week. I got the Raiders winning over the Rams. Give me Buffalo over New York. Give me Cleveland. Upset alert over Cincinnati. Dallas taking down Houston. Detroit, upset alert. Urban survival training over the Minnesota Vikings. Tennessee over Jacksonville. Philadelphia over the Giants. Pittsburgh over the Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens. KC destroying Denver. Tampa Bay taking down no quarterback San Francisco. Carolina, upset alert over Seattle. Miami taking down the Chargers, and the New England Patriots, the Lalilulelo, taking down Arizona. Now, there may be some crazy ones that I got up in there, but I think, Drew Holiday just went over. God damn it. I'm sick. But I think that may be what will transpire this particular week. Are the Lions favored? Really? The Lions are favored? Well, I'll be damned. I didn't see that one coming. I'll be damned. I didn't see that one coming. Now, as for who I think is fixing to win each division, right? So, in the AFC East, I think Buffalo wins the division. Miami goes to the playoffs, but I believe Buffalo will win the division. So Buffalo wins the AFC East. In the AFC North, I'm sorry, Baltimore. Cincinnati's going to win the division in the AFC East. Or AFC North, pardon me. With the injury to Lamar Jackson and the uncertainty of his health moving forward, fam, give me Cincinnati. They're going to win the division. They're going to win the division at 12-5. They'll win the division at 12-5 or 11-6. But one way or another, Baltimore will lose 3 of their last 5. At the least, Cincinnati will lose 2 of their last 5. At the least. AFC West. It is the Kansas City Chiefs division, and everybody else is living in it. Give me Kansas City to win the AFC West, and in the AFC South, or I like to call the AFC Mid, that's going to be Tennessee's division. So those are my AFC divisionals, right? Those are my AFC divisionals. Buffalo will win the AFC East. Why do I think Buffalo will win the AFC East? Now, I don't think they'll win a playoff game. I still think that they won't be the number 1 seed. But I think Buffalo will win the AFC East. Miami will be the 5 seed. Because both teams are going to win 3 of their last 5. And Miami is going to miss out by just 1 game. Miami is going to miss out of just 1 game. So give me Buffalo to win the AFC East. Cincinnati wins the AFC North. Tennessee takes the South. Kansas City wins the West. NFC East. Philadelphia takes the East. Dallas will be the 5 seed. Washington will also make the playoffs as well, probably at the 7 or 6 seed. The Giants will unfortunately fall out. Minnesota takes the North. They will lock that up in 2 weeks, of course. Tampa Bay will win the South with an 8-9 record. And in the NFC West, unfortunately for San Francisco, without quarterback, they still gonna win the division. Seattle gonna choke and fall down to the 7th seed. So the divisional winners will be Philly, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and San Francisco. San Francisco somehow going to do it. I don't know how the hell they're going to do it. They somehow going to still do it. They will win the division. Seattle, they look primed to do so, but God damn it, I don't see it happening. I don't see them winning the doggone division. Henry put 2 on us at Chiseled. I'm outside. Got the grapeseed oil. What that mean, brother? What you talking about? Sir, what are you referencing? What are you referencing? What could you possibly be referencing? What's going on here? But those are my divisional winners. Give me Buffalo winning the AFC East, Cincinnati in the North, Tennessee in the South, Kansas City in the West. Then in the NFC, Philadelphia leading the East, Minnesota in the North, Tampa in the South, and San Francisco wins it in the West. In the playoffs, the 1 seed in the East as the 1 seed in the NFC being Philadelphia, the 2 seed being Minnesota, the 3 seed being San Francisco, the 4 seed being Tampa Bay, the 5 seed being Dallas, the 6 seed will be Seattle, and the 7th seed will be Washington, right? So it'll be Washington versus, it'll be Washington versus Minnesota. Then it'll be San Francisco it'll be Washington versus Minnesota, San Francisco versus Seattle, Tampa Bay versus Dallas. And Philly gets the bye. Then in the AFC, Kansas City will be the number 1 seed. Kansas City will be the 1 seed. Cincinnati will be the 2 seed. Buffalo will be the 3 seed. And actually, no. Yeah, I think I can roll with that. Actually. Or do I? Buffalo and Cincinnati at the 2 or 3. Buffalo and Cincinnati at the 2 or 3. Buffalo and Cincinnati at the 2 or 3. Cincinnati will be the 2 seed. Buffalo will be the 3 seed. 4th seed will be Tennessee. Your 5th seed will be Miami. The 6th seed, now things get interesting. Because it really depends on how Baltimore plays out. But I think Baltimore will make the postseason. Baltimore will be the 7th seed. The 6th seed, man, let me tell you something right now. It's between the Chargers and the Raiders. But I don't think it's going to be either of them. I think you might just have a surprise that sneaks their way in. Is it the Jets? Is it? Well, I'm not going to sit over here and be fucking try to breed the optimism person. Pittsburgh's going to sneak their way in. I'll be hopeful. Let's leave out the spot for Pittsburgh to be the 7th seed. But we'll say Jets for now. I lied. We're not going to say Jets. Give me the Los Angeles Chargers to miss the postseason. It's going to be the Raiders at the 7th seed again. They going to sneak in at 9-8. They won't win no playoff game, but they going to sneak in at 9-8. And the matchups is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs get the bye. Cincinnati takes on the Raiders again, rematch of last year. Buffalo is going to see the Baltimore Ravens. And it's going to be Tennessee taking on Miami. The Jets are going to miss the playoffs. JTES, just end the season. Then, representing missed opportunity to say again. Representing the AFC, or I should say, representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. Man, representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. Y'all ain't gonna believe this one. Representing the NFC, this is my final pick for who I think is gonna represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. It's Snake.
Are you okay? Snake?
What happened? What just happened? What? Game over. Who did that? What? Stop. It's supposed to be us. You already know. We gonna go to the Super Bowl. We gonna take it. No, baby. It's the Fly Eagles Fly representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. The Fly Eagles Fly will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. The MVP will get them there. I'm taking the Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles. But the NFC Championship, people would think it's going to be Dallas and Philly. Dallas going to get to the divisional. Or I should say they're going to have to see Philly probably in the divisional. But give me the Eagles to go and win the NFC. Henry the Ruler put 2 on it. Said, we making chicken. Remember, why y'all weird, bro? Whoa, what part of the game is that? Give me the Eagles to represent in the Super Bowl. San Francisco is at. Give me the Eagles to represent in the Super Bowl for the NFC. Then, in the AFC, well, you know where I had before. I had Buffalo going all the way. Kansas City's going back. Kansas City's going back. The Super Bowl will be Kansas City versus Philadelphia. Super Bowl 57. Book it, Vince. That is the Super Bowl. That is the Super Bowl. It's going to be Philly. It's going to be Kansas City. That's going to be the Super Bowl. And gosh darn it, it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be reminiscent of Super Bowl 52. And guess what? Last I checked, the MVP is going to be Jalen Hurts, right? There's a curse that goes around when the MVP is in the Super Bowl game. Last MVP to win the Super Bowl was Kurt Warner in 1999. But let me tell you something right now. Somebody tell me about that curse, because that curse is going nowhere. The Super Bowl returns back to Kansas City, and everywhere you're going to be seeing people on top of goddamn skyscrapers saying,
it's free real estate. It's free real estate. It's free real estate. It's free real estate. It's free real. It's free real estate.
It's free real estate. Give me Kansas City over the goddamn Eagles, Super Bowl 57. A shocking Super Bowl. Shocking situation is Tampa Bay messes around and gets into the Super Bowl at 8-9. It's Tom Brady's heyday, right? So then what ends up happening is the number 4 seed, they shock Dallas. They beat Dallas, right? Then Tampa Bay, because they beat Dallas, they play against Philly. They beat Philly. Then Tampa Bay goes on and plays Minnesota. They beat Minnesota. They go to Super Bowl, right? But in the AFC, Pittsburgh sneaks their way in. They win out. Then they win that 7 seed. They beat the number 2 seed, who's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. Divisional matchup. They beat them. Then they play against the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Then afterwards, they play against who's going to be left? They're going to play against the son of a bitch. I'm forgetting. Not Tennessee. They're going to beat Tennessee. No. They're going to beat Buffalo. Then they beat Buffalo. They go to the Super Bowl. It's Tennessee versus Steelers. Steelers get the W again. Pittsburgh wins. Kenny Pickett, first rookie to win a Super Bowl championship. But it's all again Jets. Give me the Chiefs to win Super Bowl 57, ladies and gentlemen. Give me Kansas City to win Super Bowl 57, ladies and gentlemen, over Philadelphia. I think it's going to be a doozy of a game. I can't wait to see how things play out. I would hope that I'm wrong on the first scenario. When the second scenario happens, I hope that Pittsburgh goes and swipes the floor with everybody, and they win everything. Make it happen. Why not? Reality is why not, but damn it, we ain't talking about that right now. One way or another, that is my prediction for what is fixing to go down. And last but not least, I got to do a parlay. I can't believe all of the parlays missed, bro. I'm one leg parlay short of Adonis. Damn. And Paul George got the rebound, so then it wouldn't matter anyway. They went to OT and they got the rebound. Oh, Drew Holiday screwed me. You son of a bitch. God damn it, Drew Holiday. All right, so we got to do the NFL parlay. So, Thursday night football, we're gonna do our prediction here for our parlay before we get up out of here, and you will be redirected at the conclusion of this stream to the first part 1 of the compilation of Epic Fighting Championship. So I decided I'll put everything together so everybody be able to find everything in one place. Why? Because Epic Fighting Championship has closed their doors, so it's only right that I go out there and I compile everything together. PD the Kid put 2 on and said NFC Championship rematch of 2017. It's a possibility. Dan Rudy put 2 on it. Said me, Henry, Wesley Pipes should start an OnlyFans. #classic. What part of the game is this? But Cam Akers running for, actually, no, I don't think I would take Cam Akers, Scooby-Doo, Ved Jefferson over 38 yards. Ben Skoranek over, oh boy, Skoranek getting that much yardage. Boy, I don't know. Let's see here. Devontae Adams, 7 receptions. Devontae Adams been getting the football in his hand a lot. Josh Jacobs over 116 yards rushing and receiving, taking on the Rams. Oh, boy. You know what? Here we go. Derek Vehicle. What I will do here, Derek Vehicle, 2 passing touchdowns. I think that's doable. Derek Vehicle, 2 passing touchdowns. I think that's doable. Then Josh Jacobs. I'll pass on Josh Jacobs. Tyler Higbee, 32 yards receiving. John Wolford trying to throw the football down the field. Will John Wolford get the football in people's hands? Let's see here. John Wolford getting the football in people's hands. Do I trust him throwing the ball to Skoranek? You know what? I'll go Ben Skoranek under 29 yards. I'll go Ben Skoranek under 29 yards. I'll do this one as a security. I'll do this as a security parlay. And Morio, the tight end, or I should say Mac Hollins, I'll have Mac Hollins under 4 receptions. Have Mac Hollins, actually no, I'll do Mac Hollins over 4 receptions because I think Carr fixing to throw this football. So yeah, I like that. I'll do that 3, and I'll put 10 on that so I could secure 60. Matter of fact, I'll do 15 so I can get 90. So that's going to be my pick there up on Underdog Fantasy. And yesterday, I won 1,000, and I would like you to win 1,000 too. Yesterday, I won 1,000. I would like you to win 1,000 too. Sometimes the weird parlays work in your favor. Sometimes they don't. So yesterday, I won 1,000. I'd like you to win 1,000 too. So click the link in my description. Download the Underdog Fantasy app right now. Use promo code Adonis, not Adonis25. Adonis. Sign up, and they will match your deposit up to $100. So you put in 5, they'll give you 5. You put in 10, they'll give you 10. You put in 15, they'll give you 15. So make sure you go over there and let them know that I sent you. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys tuning into this stream for tonight, where we recapped Week 13 and also previewed Week 14 and gave the prediction of what the future of this season will look like. And like I stated before, I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning over the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 57. We shall see how that all plays out one way or another. I will be live tomorrow evening for Thursday Night Football, so I shall see you then. I have been your host, founder and chairman of Hold My Nuggets Incorporated, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. If you have not already, hit that like button. Hit that like button on your way out. Eddie, take us out. I'll see y'all tomorrow night.
Good night. Suck my dick. Bye-bye.